Okay, so just before we go into standing, we've got a nice little foot here. Isn't this awesome? So we have our foot. I think each foot, I'm going back into my storehouse of memories. I could be slightly off on this, but I think each foot has 26 bones. I could count them, but I don't have enough time today. Which is kind of interesting, and 19 intrinsic muscles. Isn't that amazing? So what we do in our feet has a relationship of what happens in our knees, our pelvis, what's stacking below us so that our shoulders can be relaxed. Okay, so what we're gonna focus on are the 3 arches to start. So we have a transverse arch here. Okay, so it goes across. So this is across the foot. So it's like a bridge. Okay, then you have a medial arch, which is your big toe to your inner heel. Then you have your outer arch, which is your lateral arch. Okay, so from the outer heel to your pinky. So you have 3 of them. Okay, so when we're walking, okay, so I always find it fascinating to look at how we're supposed to walk, our gait. Okay, so when you walk, and just before we get into that, I'm getting told that I should talk about the calcaneus bone, which is your heel bone. Okay, and so you can see that it's kind of interesting because it's more on the outside than it is on the inside of the foot. And I find that fascinating that there's more support on the outside. So when we step, we actually step and strike with the outer heel first. And then the foot kind of starts to roll in, it pronates in, and then we push off the toes when we walk. Okay, so when you properly step, you should feel a little bit more of the outer heel. Then it rolls into the inner, then you roll through the foot, and then you propel off the toes. So that's kind of how we should walk. So sometimes we get a little bit lazy and we're really heavy, and we don't push off the toes at the end. Okay, so the toes are a point that we should be pushing off of. If when we step, our inner arches, this medial arch is not strong enough, then when we step, all the energy goes into this big toe. And sometimes it gets stuck. And when it gets stuck, then this big toe starts to veer off to the side, and this bone starts to push out. Then we get what we call bunions. Okay, and all the connective tissue on the outside of the foot gets really, really tight. Okay, so we're going to focus on some exercises. When we were doing them yesterday, we found some really funny things that happened that we're going to play with. Seamus found when you closed your eyes, and we did it because you have to really think, okay, big toe, do this when all the other toes are doing something else, right? And I don't know, you might have found, because yeah, you have to talk to your toes. You're like, okay, big toe, move, right? So you'll understand when we do it. So we're going to strengthen this line to pull the big toe back into alignment and keep this inner arch lifted. We're going to release the fascia on the outside of the foot. We're also going to do work on strengthening the lateral arch and, of course, the transverse. And when you strengthen the lateral arch, it will strengthen the ankle. Okay, so just kind of a little education. So you're like, okay. So when you're standing here now, I want you just to take a moment before we even foot roll, just to stand and notice which toes connect with the ground. Do you tend to supinate, which means your feet roll out? So you'll notice where on your calcaneus bone, which is your heel bone, do you rest? Can you feel the whole heel bone? Do you tend to roll out to the outside of the heel bone, the inside? Yeah, and the knees knock in, right? So a lot of the time when you pronate in, the inner thighs will go in. So you need to think of pressing out. Yeah, and so one of the things to lift the inner arches is just lifting all of the toes up. And you want to press the mound of the pinky toe and the big toe down. Now you can see your inner arches lifting. Yes, but they'll come. Have you been doing your grasping exercises that we do? Yeah. So we're going to do something else to try to help you get those arches. But if you practice just even lifting your toes up and pushing, yeah, do it 1 foot at a time and you can hold the wall. So you can even isolate. Okay, what does 1 foot do? Can I keep both the big mound and the pinky toe mound? Yeah. It's interesting how the hands want to get involved too, right? So the hands go, right? The hands are like, okay, we're toes, do this, right? So it's fascinating. Can you keep other parts of your body not needing to come involved in it? And I'll point them out, right? But it's an interesting one because you do have that tendency. I commonly say to you, Teresa, relax your fingers, right? But it is fascinating. You'll see when we start to do the toe exercises, some other stuff will happen, which is really funny. It's quite comical. But I just want you to lift the toes and see if you can center on your heel and then drop all of the toes. And then maybe you even need to lift one heel and see if you can drop it with intention, noticing one of the things that Caroline and I found out was the core coming involved in what the core of the body is doing. So some of us have been working on our X connection, opposite hip to opposite rib. And that sometimes helps to align what your feet are doing. And then pick up the other heel, set it down with intention, exhale. Some of you might feel lower belly. So lower belly is below the belly button. It's usually about 3 to 4 fingers below the belly button. And this is what you call your lower belly. Okay, so that lower belly draws in and then it pulls up. And the ribs knit. Some of you might go exhale, opposite rib to opposite hip. Okay, and then I want you to find 1 foot. Remember, some of you find it helpful to touch that little bump on the crown of the head and lift. So I don't have my dowel in front of me, but I'm going to grab it in a moment. But as you shift and you ask that 1 foot to now be your anchor, what are you doing on the talus bone? So I want you to note, not the talus bone, the calcaneus bone. Okay, so when you're ready, lift up the 1 foot. Try to stay anchored on the calcaneus bone, and then you can start to roll. So we're just going to release, obviously, the fascia, the plantar fascia on the sole of the foot. Is this helping to notice what your foot is doing? A lot of the time, if you look at your feet in their shoes, you can notice, what do I do a lot of the time? Because you can see, oh, where do I wear out my shoe? Yes. So you want to have the heel, good question, plus the toes as well, anchoring down. So it's not really like a 50-50 even. It's usually, I kind of feel, let's see if this is the same for you, like 60% of your weight's in your heel, 40% is in your toes. Yeah, so you have to shift that. Yeah, because a lot of your weight, right, was collapsing into the front of the foot. So you want to make sure that as you do this, can you almost feel like you're pressing down and lifting the inner arch? We talked about last week, the big toe to the outer ankle and the pinky toe to the inner ankle. So there's an X in your foot too. And so sometimes you can feel like you're about to pick up the floor with your standing foot. I love that Kevin's like, get down, ground, yeah. Oh, bend the knee, yeah. I still agree with you. Yeah. How are you feeling? Okay, good. I know. It's really fascinating if you can be around babies or toddlers and you watch how they move their feet. It's really amazing. And the quality that they can go from pronation to supination with ease and find integrity within that. We sometimes want to find one and we become a little bit more rigid as we get older, right? We find something and then we lock into it, right? But remember, we have to be fluid. Sorry, go ahead, Lauren. Yeah, the patella, right? Yeah, it takes a while for it to, and all of their vertebrae too. So it's not until they're 10 do all of their vertebrae actually form into what they're going to be as an adult. That's pretty fascinating too, right? Yeah. Okay, so to encourage the feet to open up, some of you might be on a ball at home, but for the dowel to open the top of the foot, you want to try to get the mounds, if you can, on the dowel and let the toes hang over. Now you can notice, right, that the top of the foot is opening. Yeah, good. See if your feet can be a little bit more parallel, Pat. Your right foot wants to turn out. There we go. Now as we exhale, so inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward, keep the ribs knitted, keep the lower belly drawing in. Okay, hands can be on your thighs, they can dangle, you can swing. Opposite action is always happening through the head and the sit bones. Now this next part is optional because we are going to do some massaging when we come down, but if you want to bend and roll down a little bit more, you might even just take some time to massage the front part of your foot. Okay, so that would be in between the knuckles. And you might notice, oh, some of my knuckles are really close together. Sometimes the second and the third toe get a little bit of fascial adhesion in there. So keep breathing. You notice when you're ready to come up, there's a rooting down to rise. You take your time. Okay, stepping off. Just note if the first foot needs a little bit more rolling. And then take a moment to go back into your standing. So you might lift up the toes again. So I found with these exercises, sometimes at the beginning, you might feel, oh, it's a little bit difficult, but I've been doing them every day. And once you get it, then the brain starts, the synapse, right? The pathway will start getting clearer and clearer and clearer, and it will get easier, right? It's just with everything, you just got to keep doing it. And then the body goes, oh yeah, you're asking me to do that again. Okay. And so that pathway, it's kind of like a road. It starts out as a gravel road, right? And then it starts to get clearer and smoother on the gravel. And then it gets paved and it's like a really clear. And then next you get on a bicycle and you can just, right? So anything where the body is not used to doing something, remember, you have to just keep at it and it will get easier. Okay, let's go into a little side bending. So however you want, you might just reach one arm up, you might put it down onto the shoulder, you might put it behind the crown of the head and press into it and exhale over. Keep the rib cage knitted. Keep your feet active. Notice how you're connecting with the heel bone. And then switch. Take it one more time to each side, your rhythm. Inhale as you transition. Exhale, gathering into the ribs, the lower belly, maybe your X connection. Maybe you want to extend the arm. Okay, there's a pulling up, but there's also a drawing down. Remember, there's always opposition happening. Okay, the head stays center. It only moves over to the side because the spine is gently curving. So we're not twisting, we're not looking up. Sometimes when you have your hand on the back of the skull, you can have that pressing into each other. hand and skull. Notice if you need a few shoulder movements. Then you're going to go into your other foot. So the foot you just rolled is now your anchor. See if you can keep the inner arch lifted. Keep awareness on what you're doing on the heel bone. Are you transferring out more on the outer heel bone, the inner heel bone? Each foot, as we notice, is a little bit different. How you doing, Mom? You noticing something in your feet? What's that? You're looking at them? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so rolling. So one interesting thing, if you can see it, might be hard for people online to see it, but you guys might be able to see it. If you pronate, I'm going to do it without the dowel in. So as you just keep rolling, so if you pronate, which means your foot rolls in, watch my ankle. Okay, watch my knee. Okay, if you have knee pain, you wonder why you have knee pain, and you wonder why you have hip pain. If you're doing this all the time, right, look what's happening to the knee and the hip. So this connection up, if your ankle is not in neutral, because when you walk, it flows through pronation and supination. You should be able to do that. But it's when you get locked in one and it becomes a habit. Okay, so you should be able to have this fluid quality. A strength of the foot is to be fluid and stable at the same time, right? Not just stable. So we're just going to roll out the second foot. So when you're standing, you might feel the foot moving. That's okay. Allow it to be fluid if it wants to. Notice if you pronate in, sometimes you can think of lifting the ankle, lifting the inner heel. You want to have your ankle in neutral. If you roll out too much, then you've got to bring it back. So you keep rolling and then decide, do you want to stand with the dowel under the heels? Do you want to go back to rolling forward and another massage? Do you want to put the dowel just under the front pad of the feet and just stand there and see if you can reach through all the toes? Notice, does your pinky toe and your fourth toe and your third toe, are they all reaching? There you go. Yeah. And now as you stand, you can use my shoulders if you need to. Now you're going to push out through here. There it is. And lift up through here. Yeah. And it becomes not lifting the heel off the ground. See that right there? Just lifting up and through here. It's going to be a good one to try these toe exercises that we're doing today. Try to see if it strengthens the toe line. Okay, so just stay here for a few more breaths. Okay, then we're going to come out. Feel always that soft bend to the knee. We're never locking the knees. And then just check in. Does something else need to be rolled? And then you're going to let your ball or your dowel go. And then ask body, what does it need? Does it need a few swinging twists? Does it need some shoulder rolls? What do you need? Every time you move your foot, be intentional about how you're standing. So as you complete that, just take your time. You're either going to grab your inflated slow-mo ball or you're going to grab your block. We're going to place it in between the thighs. So you can be middle thigh, you can be closer to the knee, you can be closer to the pelvic floor, whatever works. And some of you, yeah, there's a tricky knot. If you just pull, yeah. My family always gets kind of, yeah, it's a tricky, no, it's totally fine. This blue one is a really good one. Okay. So standing, what's that? Yeah, it does feel really good to have that, right? Yeah. So when you're here, there's a little squeezing in, but there's also a pressing out at the same time. That changed something for you when I said pressing out. Did you feel that? Something happened. I felt it was like, it was like little building blocks went into place that weren't there. Okay, so some of you might need a wall, some of you might not. Okay, so let's go down into chair pose first. So watch what the knees are doing. So if the toes are kind of being pulled off center, you want to think of your knees tracking over the center line of your foot, which is pretty much here. Just think if you were to draw a line down your feet. Okay, so exhale. Keep the ribs gathered. Okay, hands can be at your waist, they can be by your side. I know some of you like to lift them. Just hold here for a few breaths. Notice what your heel bones are doing. Notice what your toes are doing, which toes are not rooting to the floor. Then you're going to come up. You're going to squeeze the ball. And now you're going to start to press into all the toes. Squeeze the ball. See if you can lift your heels up. Pull that string out the crown of your head. And then you're going to come down back into chair. Keep lifting up the string. Now notice if the knees want to buckle in too much, think of pressing them out a little bit. Yeah, I would bring your feet a little bit closer together, Pat. Yeah, that feels better. Yeah, even if you want to go a little bit closer. And then, yeah, if you do it closer, then you can lean your knees out a little bit more. So then there's this action. Instead of them going here, press them out. There it is. That's better. That's more work for you, right? And when you're ready, yeah, that feels good. Coming up, press down through the toes, squeeze the ball, lean out if you need to. Lift up. Some of you may even feel the arms want to float up, but that's okay if they don't. Okay, you need to find a focal point, then come down. These are really great to strengthen the feet, the ankles, the shins, up into the core. So go from chair, flow up into tippy toe, your rhythm here. Good. Now, when you go up into tippy toe, you can feel how sometimes the big toes don't want to connect or they come off. Yeah, so get those big toe mounds down. Roll the thighs in. Oh, there it is. I know it's a lot of work. You can feel how the thigh bones start to do a winging. They go, woo, right? So you want to just think, roll thigh bones in. There, that helps. That cue, I think, is helpful. Yeah, there it is. There you go. Yay, that's great. Maybe just do a couple more. Just watching you. Okay back there, Ma? Okay, just wanted to check in with you that you weren't lightheaded. Okay, how does that feel? Caroline, is that okay? Able to keep the ribs connected in chair? Yeah, it's that back one, right? Even, yeah, push it back in because it always wants to come forward. So if you pull it in, yeah, there, that feels right there like you've got it. Yeah. It's a tricky one, right? Because you always have to be mindful, and I do too. Mine does that, and I just always like, oh, and then you feel this tension. You always have this tension right here. That fascially, it gets like a really hard. Yeah. Okay, so you have a little squash ball. If you don't, let me know. Do you have a squash ball? Okay, just can grab you one. Okay, before we go into rolling at the wall, I just want you to take your squash ball and put it in your bubbling springs point. I'll show that. Big toe mound, pinky toe mound, travel inward. Here's your transverse arch, right? Right below your second and your third toe, there's a little spot there. You can pop it in. You know where that is from being in tensegrity. See what that does on your foot. That is called the bubbling springs point in Chinese medicine. What it does is it lifts and increases your energy. So if you're feeling fatigued, you can also massage it with your hand. Okay, it's like same thing as what the name is, bubbling springs. Brings energy up the body. So if you're already feeling light, that's not a good time to do it. So if you're feeling disorientated, you don't want to do the bubbling springs because it's going to make you more, right? But we've already grounded. But it shows you that lift of the foot. So just notice how it is to stand on one of the balls compared to the other one. See how your transverse arch pops up? Yeah. You have it under your right foot, Elspeth? Yeah. Your right foot looks very different now. Yeah. So you can feel, right, the difference of what it feels like. Sometimes it's nice just to pump up and down on the foot. And you can do pumping action all through the foot if you want. But we're just focusing on that bubbling springs today. And feel how that whole side feels. So for me, I have it under my left foot, so I'm feeling my whole left leg, left hip, left side of the body, left arm, left shoulder, and then compare it from the ground up to the other side. Is there anything different that you notice? Maybe, maybe not. This one's going in a little bit, right? So it's helping to realign me. That's an interesting observation. Okay, come out. Stand now on the foot that you had the ball there and see if you can still kind of recreate it. That lift. So that bubbling springs point, you can think of lifting it up. Now you're going to do other foot. Take your time. Yeah, and try to keep the intention of the other foot. Imagine that ball is still there on the other foot and see if you can lift that bubbling springs point without losing any of your anchors in the feet. Some of you have done this before, so it's just reviewing it and bringing it back in. Just give it some time for your body to readjust and let the bones and the muscles and the fascia take time to adjust to the foot. Okay, when you're ready, you're gonna release it. Try to stand with both feet in intention. So we have heel bone, toes, bubbling springs. So I've layered on 3 points of awareness. Now, as you find a wall and you do a little rolling fascially to release the body, be aware of what your feet are doing. Okay, so you're gonna find a wall, you put your slow-mo ball. Teresa, there's a wall right there. There's also a wall if you want to come up. You can move that. I'll move that curtain for you. It's kind of hooked, but I'll adjust it for you. Oh, that was good. There we go. It gives you some space. Okay, now just pause, exhale, feel your body and the ball against the wall. Notice your feet. Now, when you roll, your pelvis sometimes is going to want to shoot forward and your buttocks is going to want to squeeze together. Try to keep your sit bones widening apart. It'll keep your sacrum apart. Okay, keep the pelvis stacked underneath the shoulders and the head. Gaze is straight ahead if you can. So just start going vertically up and down the spine, going into chair. Feeling what the knees are doing. If they're tracking in, think of leaning out a little bit. If they're out too much, think of coming in. Notice what your knees are doing. Yeah. Think of that bubbling springs point. You okay, Caroline? Okay, you're taking whatever you need, right? Okay. And then allow the ball to start to roll a little bit from left to right. You can move it fascially into the lower back. You can move it into the mid back. You can roll all the way around to the side body. Move with intention now. You mean into the ball? Not really hard, but I'm definitely rooting into the ball. Yeah, like I have a quality of leaning, but I don't have it so much that I'm creating tension inside my body. Have you done the inflated ball against the wall, Teresa? That's okay, good. Okay, some of you may even feel upper back. You might even roll into the front of the upper part of the sternum and the pecs. And if you want to change to a ball that has more pressure, you want to go to a pink ball, or you have two balls that are tied or taped together. I also have an extra one in that basket. If you want to do a little bit deeper fascial release against the wall, feel free to go into it. Notice what your feet are doing. Yes, good. Is your back feeling a little bit better? It's all tied into your feet. Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Doing so much care on the feet, the back is like, oh. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice. I was going to suggest that rolling in the back right now. Just allow it to open. Yeah, right. As you're doing, and just gently, because that's really the tight, right? Right in there. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah. The last 2 days, yeah. The body's like, whew, there's a lot going on. You're asking too much from me. Yeah. You guys were finding some fancy spots, you and Tina, last week. I'm going to share that one. So, you guys were putting the ball here, right? On the pec. Yeah. So some people had last week, and we were doing them against the pillars too, but some people had two balls and they were hard to show, but leaning into the wall and then, you know, kind of feeling it into the wall. So allowing the pec minor. Yeah. That's a little bit different. Do you have the other balls? Yeah, I was going to say whatever you've got is really working for you. I can see your whole face smiling and your whole body just lit up a little bit. Yeah, because sometimes the outer hip, especially, right, if the feet are doing something, then certain muscles are getting overly worked. Yeah. So that's the chair pose, that one that we do is working, and more awareness in your toes. Okay, so toes connect to the front of the thigh. So this is, I'll just review this, and a lot of you know this. When you root into your toes, you activate the top of the foot, the shin, the knee, the quad, and the psoas, and the iliacus muscle. If you're heel heavy, you activate the Achilles tendon, the hamstrings, the calves, going up into the abductors. So if you notice, oh, I send a lot of my toes, you're probably tighter on your front line than you are in your back line. And if you're really heel heavy, you're probably tighter in your back line than your front line, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. In oh yeah, I was just holding this.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't even need. I was
yeah.
just holding it, so you don't even really need it. So yeah, here, yeah, and then you're just leaning. There you are. Do you feel it now?
Yeah.
You can just let this hand relax down. Did you want? But there's pink balls here. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna do a couple more minutes here, and then we're gonna move on. How's that feel, Elsby? Do you feel like you got it now? Yeah, that's a nice one. So the muscles, not only the pectoralis major, but the pectoralis minor muscle flows this way, right? So it goes down and it comes up and it attaches to a little knob right here that attaches to your shoulder blade. Yeah, that one feels really good on you. Yeah. Good. Yeah, they're good. You should use them a little bit more at home, hey? Those ones always really resonate with you. Mm-hmm. Anytime you do ball rolling. Okay. We're just going to notice if we've been doing one side, can we just balance out so that we feel even? And we're going to review the poses we did last week. So when you're ready, just taking your time over the next half a minute to let go and balance out and find your mat. You can keep that ball because you're going to use it again. You might use it again. Yeah, because we're going to do a tiny bit more foot stuff. Okay, so you're widening your feet on your mat anywhere from 3 to 4.5 feet. We have enough space if you want to take your mat from vertically and flip it horizontally. Feel free so that you can see a little bit easier. Okay, right foot's going to turn out. You're going to either have your heel lined up with your back heel, or you're going to walk your front foot in and line it up with the inner arch. And then I want you to take a little bend of your knee and take a moment to feel how you're anchoring on your feet. Now, we talked a little bit, if you externally rotate this back leg, you can even turn the foot in, turn the toes in and anchor the heel back. And it will internally rotate the leg a little bit. For some of us, that feels really good. Some of us, we prefer to be parallel. Okay, so you notice in one leg, it might be very different from the other. I know my left leg likes to be internally rotated a little bit more. Okay. Bend the front knee. Now remember, as your knee tracks over, if you tend to roll in, you're going to need to push the knee back. So some of you might even have your hand on the outer thigh. Knee is tracking down the middle of your foot. If you're not going to use your hands on your leg, you bring the arms up. Check that your back arm is not higher than your shoulders. Palms can be facing out, down, or up. Feel your breath. Notice your feet, toes, bubbling springs, heel. Just going to hang here for a couple breaths. And remember, if you root into your toes a little bit more, you're going to activate the front of your shins and your quads. If you root into your heel, you're going to feel the back of your leg, your calves and your hamstrings. So you want to have a balance. Now we're going to drop our left hand to our left leg. We're going to look at our right arm. You're going to press into your right foot. You're going to straighten. You're going to pull this thigh bone up into the hip socket. So you're going to straighten the leg, but you're not locking the knee. Now you're going to exhale. Allow your pelvis to sink back and reach forward. Now watch, when you do this, your rib cage is going to want to do some funky things and the pelvis might anterior tilt. So you might even put your hand there and pull the side of the ribs down. And then just release the arm. So you can have the back of the hand leaning against the leg into the hand. And then you're going to rotate. So you think right shoulder comes up, heart, left shoulder. Okay, gaze can stay down, straight ahead or up, and the left arm can come up as well. Trikonasana. Beautiful. I'm just going to come out, stay there. Use the wall if you need to. Okay. So if I touch your middle back here, okay, and then also in your head. I want you to lean back into these 2 points. Back, keep coming. Let your gaze look straight to the prop. When you're ready, come up. See how your gaze is kind of angling back a little bit? Eventually you want it straight. There you go. Yeah. Good. Ah. So I've shifted you, right, from that to that. Okay, so it just allows you to feel what's happening. Okay, so when you're ready, come up, shake it out, switch your feet. Okay, so just going to talk about the adjustment that Elsby and I did together. Your tendency, so I'm just going to fast forward into triangle. Your tendency is this front part of your body is going to want to come forward. And you're going to want to look behind you, but you're going to want to open up and look straight ahead. Okay, so you should be able to draw a line through your body. If this is difficult, use the wall. Okay, only one shoulder, left hip, left shoulder will be at the wall, but you'll have a feeling of this. Okay, so feet are 3 to 4 feet apart. Check in. Does your heel want to line up with the inner arch of your back foot? Does your back foot want to be parallel? Does the back heel want to move back and roll that thigh in? Arms come up, front knee bends. Track your knee over the toe. Good. There we go. Now push into this knee. There we go. Yeah. So if you find that holding it is too much, just go to a straight leg. Yeah. And then go back into a bent knee. And then go from a straight leg into a bent knee. So instead of holding it, you flow. Okay. In and out of the pose. Yes. Because sometimes arthritis doesn't want you to hold. Okay. So when you're ready, you're going to straighten the front leg from pushing the foot. Right arm goes down. Inhale, lengthen. Watch the rib. Let the arm release. Once you've lengthened, it's where it needs to go. You're going to open left shoulder, heart, upper chest. Maybe right arm for some of you. Maybe the right arm stays down. Exactly. Good. Something's shifting. You feel it? Something's happening. Okay, you come up. Let's heel toe the feet together. Shake it out. You're going to go up towards the top of your mat. We're going to flow down. Feet are parallel. Feel your feet. Take a few breaths. Hands at heart center in a prayer position. Exhale the arms down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward without anterior tilting your pelvis. So keep the back ribs full. Now you have a choice here to bend the knees a little bit more. Let the belly and the thighs find one another. That will open the back. When you're ready, you choose, do I want to go back into a downward dog? That's a big step with the right foot and the left foot as you bend your knees and you place your hands on your mat. They are the width of your mat. Some of you may want to go straight into child's pose. Hey, remember, if you go into downward dog, I'm going to come out. But just remember, we've talked about this, that when you're in downward dog, your shoulders want to rise up to the top of the socket, more narrow. The bottom of the socket, which looks like a pear in the shoulder, you want to drop it down to the depth of your socket. Good. You can walk the feet out. Nice. Oh, your downward dog is looking really good. Widen the shoulder blade. Good. Let your knees bend a little bit more. Push and lengthen your spine. There you go, Teresa. That's your downward dog. Yeah, you feel the difference of that? Mm-hmm. When you're ready, you're releasing down into child's pose. Knees come down. You drop down, let the buttocks come down to where the knees feel okay. You can do a little lateral release, walk the arms to one side. Head can hover. Breathe. If you bring your arms to the right, breathe through the left side. If you brought your arms to the left, breathe through the right side of your body. Okay, when you're done one side, transition through center, inhalation, exhale, other side. And you're going to come back to center. Good. When you're ready, we're going to float up onto our hands and knees, either elbows and knees, hands and knees. If you need a blanket to support your knees, feel free. Hey, you can have the top of the feet on the floor. You can tuck your toes under to release the feet a little bit more. Hands are under the shoulders, fingers are spread. Or you have your elbows. We're going to go into a spinal wave. So we're just going to exhale, let the tailbone release down. The back rounds up to the ceiling. The head lowers down. Now, as you inhale, the pelvis gently tilts forward. Now, watch that the rib cage doesn't separate too much. So some of you might even want to exhale here and keep the ribs knitted and do very gentle extension through the front body to keep the lower back open. Little less movement of the head looking up. Maybe it looks just forward on your mat. And you're going to flow back and forth here. Good. Some of you might want to circle. And so circling can be like your spine is circling around your body. It's drawing a circle. We're all going to look a little bit different in this. Other option of circling is inhaling forward, exhaling the hips back. So you're drawing a circle around your whole body. Just letting the spine dance. Just releasing the myofascia. Okay. So some of you might have your toes tucked under and you've had that for the whole time. So then just release them. If you've had your toes flat, tuck them under. So if you have arthritis in your toes, this is probably as far as you want to go. Okay, but if not, you can always try to come back a little bit. It opens the feet. So don't go too far with the knees, but you want to tuck the toes under eventually. And some of you in time may be able to sit back. Don't go there though. right away, but I'm just showing you some transition. Yeah, so there might be a kneeling. And I'm sitting back towards my heels. Yeah, good, Kevin. Yeah. Okay, so it's just a release through the toes. Now you're going to shake them out, tap them. We're going to swing around. Okay, if you have toe spacers on, you want to pull them out. Okay, now you want to find a place that you feel comfortable in. So some of you might take the bolster, put it behind your back, slide all the way to the wall and use that as support. So you can use the desk. Okay, some of you might take the slow-mo ball and sit on top of it. I'm going to be a little bit more forward because I'm going to be moving forward and back here. Good. So your bolster is right there for you, Pat. Okay, and I'm just going to adjust my camera. Okay. Good. So you can sit on it, Teresa. You can also flip it up like that and sit on the floor and have it supporting the back. So you can try both if you want. One might feel more delightful than the other one. Oh, that feels really good. Yeah, you've got it now. Okay, so you want to feel your sit bones. So those are those bony bones. So just take a moment. Instead of pulling the flesh out, you want to sweep the flesh back and up. Okay, so sometimes you just got to lift the flesh of the buttocks out of the way. Just notice, do you feel your right sit bone? Do you feel your left sit bone? Okay, so we're going to do one foot at a time. First thing we're going to do is just massage them. So you're going to take your foot, your fingers are underneath, your thumbs are on top of the foot. And you're just going to take some time just to massage the top of the foot. So we did this a little bit in foot rolling. So you might massage out, you might massage in. You might notice, a little bit of tension around the toes. Especially where you've had an injury. The fascia might be a little bit tight, so you can go with and pull kind of towards where you feel the adhesion. Sometimes it might be vertically, or sometimes it might be away from where you feel the gathering. Yeah. Yeah, flip-flops are not the best because they grip, the big toe grips. If you can find flip-flops that have an arch support or a little bit spongy, Mom, didn't you find some flip-flops that were spongy, right? Where did you get those? They're called yoga flips, or what's that? At the thrift store. Yeah. I also have a pair of flip-flops too that have support in the inner arch. My inner arch doesn't even touch them because my arches are so high, but those are really good too. You got them for me. What was it? Those are the ones that he got me. Yeah, so pay a little bit more for your flip-flops if you're going to wear them. Seamus, where did you get those? Online? Yeah, but you bought me a pair of flip-flops just last year. We bought new ones online. Yeah, if you forget, just email me. Okay, how's it feeling? Is your foot feeling a little bit different? Now notice, how does that foot feel to the other foot? Sometimes you can even look at it and go, wow, look at how the flesh looks a little bit different. Okay, you're gonna do the other foot. So we're gonna prime both feet and then we're gonna do some exercise. Yeah, the knee can go like that too, yeah. However you need it to go out to the side is totally fine. You can even take, How does that feel? Yeah, sometimes a ball too might be instead of this, it might be the ball. Ooh, that feels better. Yeah, okay. We're getting it. So we're supporting the legs. So however you need it, some of us have been letting the legs go out. I just like to have the leg up, but you have to have pretty strong flexion at your hip to be here, so you can be out. Yeah. You can support the leg. You can also take your feet in, your fingers, your index and your middle finger, and push it up into your bubbling springs point and open it up. You kind of fan the foot, the top of the foot open. Yeah, it feels really nice, doesn't it? Good that you instinctively wanted to go into it. Nice. So just doing a little bit more myofascia release and strengthening. Awesome. So we're just going to do a little bit longer, and then we're going to go into the fun stuff now. This is when you got to connect with your toes. This next one. I mean, don't worry if you can't do it. I remember the very first time my feet just looked at me and they were like, no. And I think, what did we do? We were like pushing it down. Go, you can do it. Okay, so you can only do 1 foot at a time. So I don't really care what this leg does. You can take it out of the equation. You're going to focus on 1 foot. It's enough for your brain to do 1 foot. So you choose 1 foot. That foot is on the floor. You're going to pull all your toes up to start. Trying to get close enough to the camera because there's about 5 people watching the recording, so I want them to be able to know what I'm doing. So I'm pulling all the toes up. So you're getting your big toe mound and the pinky toe mound on the ground. Yeah, so your pinky toe mound's floating, theirs on the ground. Okay, so now with keeping all your toes lifted, you're going to talk to your big toe. And you're going to ask your big toe, Kevin's smiling already because you were probably showing this one, weren't you? You're going to ask your big toe to touch the floor. These can drop, but they're not touching the floor. Okay, so you're going to go big toe, touch the floor. Big toe, touch the floor. And then lift up. Yeah, keep the pinky mound. Yeah, that's the hardest one. My pinky mound wants to float. So you can even touch your pinky mound, hold it, and then say big toe, touch. Big toe, yeah. Good. That's looking so much better. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Seamus. So Seamus noticed the other day, if he closed his eyes, it was easier to connect with the pinky toe. I mean, to the big toe. So try it. Close your eyes. Connect internally with your big toe. Yeah, that was a really good find. I noticed that right away when you said that. I was like, oh yeah, I can. Push it down. Yeah, push it down with your eyes. Yeah, right? Yeah. So see one thing. See how your big toe mound's floating? So I want you to try to keep your big toe mound and your pinky toe mound on the floor. So you're going to pull up your toes. Yeah, I'm going to come towards you. Okay. So this is your big toe mound and this is your pinky toe. So you're going to pull up the toes, anchor this. So pull up this one too, all of them. Pull up all your toes. Now press this mound and this mound on the floor. Yes, and now keep holding your toes up. Okay, now with keeping your mounds on the floor, you're going to reach this toe towards the floor. There it is. Good. And this one stays down, but you got to keep the toes lifted. There we go. I know, but it will though. Yeah, you try to keep it down as much as you can. So you're going to do little toes. And then you're going to try your other one. Try your other foot. How's this working? Okay, good. There you go. Yay! Mama, how you doing over there? I know. There you go. Yeah. Good. So it's interesting how one foot's a little bit better than the other foot, right? Yes. So do your other foot if you haven't done the other foot yet. The closing your eyes, Laura, is working good for you, yeah? Your pinky toe, yeah. All the other toes should stay elevated off the floor when you reach your big toe, but your mound should stay on the floor. I know. So what we're doing is we're strengthening this medial arch. So if you have a bunion or your toe is starting to go off alignment, this is the exercise that actually helps to realign. Plus, walking by striking your heel, rolling through the foot, and propelling off your toes at the end. If you're not propelling off your toes when you walk, you're still feeding into the problem. Okay, so now, okay, so you've got that one. Okay, the next one, you're gonna pull up all the toes. Now you're gonna touch pinky. The fourth toe is gonna wanna go with the pinky, so let it. You can't stop it. Yeah, they have no choice. They're connected tendonly, so you can't separate. So you're pulling all the toes up, connecting big toe mound and pinky toe mound, and then you're gonna try to just touch your pinky to the floor, yeah? So this stabilizes your lateral arch and your ankle. So if this is tight on you or weak, you probably have a really entangled IT band. Okay, so do both feet. It is a workout, isn't it? I know. We're working out our feet. You're like, I'm exhausted. Okay, and this is one I didn't share with you because I was actually quite frustrated with it and I still can't do it. And then I showed it to Seamus and he was like, I got it. And I was like, whatever. Okay, so the next one is once you've got your big toe and you've got your pinky toe and you can do them each separately, this one is really difficult for me, but you pull up all your toes, root your big toe mound and your pinky toe mound, and you're supposed to try to be able to touch your big toe and your pinky toe at the same time. I know, right? I know. I'm gonna try to close my eyes. Hold on. We thought that we had it, and then Seamus would be like, okay, my eyes are closed, check. And then we didn't, but you did get it one time, twice probably. I still haven't got it. Yeah, there you go. It's just the two because your second and your third toe are the only two that are going to stay lifted. And your third and your fourth are going to go down together and your big toe is going to go down together. So it's really just staying. Yes, it's the transverse arch. Oh my God. It's helpful. Yeah, you can see it, right? Okay, so it's helpful. One thing I did was I held my second and my third toe up and then pushed the big toe and the pinky toe and the fourth toe down. I know. It's a brain one, isn't it? What's that? I know, everything starts to cramp up. Yeah, going down. Whew. So are your feet all worked out now? So let's shake it out. 5 after 10, we're gonna lie down. Oh my God, the elastic band, thank you. We have to do the elastic band. Okay, so you're gonna put the elastic band around the big toes. I usually double it, but you check. So I usually double the elastic band and then put it around the big toes. So you were finding, Caroline, that putting it closer to the nail was helpful. Yeah, just the big toes. So I've doubled it and then I put it on. So take it, double it, pull it apart. So you can do it at the base, you can do it around the knuckle, closer to the big toe. So this might be a good exercise. Do you want help putting it around your toe? You got it. There you go. Now you want to pull a little bit on the elastic band, root your feet, find your heel bone, and it will start to pull your big toe back into alignment. Okay, so you're pulling your feet apart a little bit. So there's tension on the band. Yeah, try to let your toes relax. So try not to go into a hammer toe or anything. Okay, feel the lifting of the inner arches a little bit. And pull the feet apart. Yeah, there you go. You can stand up and do this too, but you know what? It might be good. Why don't you lie down on your back? Yeah, and do it on your back. Let's do that, you guys. Let's go on our backs. Because I do want to lie us down. Help, she's tied me up and I can't get out. The feet are flat against the floor as if you're going to go into bridge, which we're going to go into in a moment. So right now we're in constructive rest. Knees are bent. Feet are hip width apart, knees are hip width apart, pelvis is dropping into the floor. Okay, and then just release. So do a little bit of pulling apart of the elastic band, root the feet, let it release. Do it a couple times. And then when your toe says, okay, I've had enough, bring your legs up, pull it off, wiggle them. Okay, we're gonna release the thoracic body to end as well as the hips. So once you pull the toes off, wiggle them around. Thank your feet for all the work they did for you today. You might need to, if they feel fatigued, roll them out again later on today. Okay, but find them hip width apart or a little bit wider if you need more space for the lower back. The closer you have your feet together, the more you work inner thighs, the more wider you have your feet together, the more you're gonna work outer hips. So ask yourself, do I wanna do a little bit of work in outer hips today? Widen your feet a little bit wider than hip width. If you want to work inner thighs, your adductor, bring your feet a little bit closer. Okay, arms are down by your side. Make sure you have enough space above your head to reach your arms up overhead. Okay, think of all the work we did on the feet. Okay, back ribs are staying connected on the floor. So just take a moment to exhale. So these are the ribs below your shoulder blades. Okay, roll your head a little bit if you need to from side to side to find the back of the skull. You might even do a little up and down. Okay, then you're going to reach the arms up as you inhale, fingers point to the ceiling. Exhale overhead, only come as far overhead as you can keep both sides of the rib cage connected to the floor. You're going to exhale here, knit the ribs, press the back ribs into the mat. Okay, inhale when you're ready, arms come up. Exhale, arms down by your side. Okay, so we all know this flow, most of us. Inhale, point the fingers to the ceiling. Exhale, overhead. Don't worry about the arms touching the floor. Keep the back ribs connected on the floor. When you're ready to come up, you inhale, the arms come up, point towards the ceiling. Exhale, down beside you. Good. Good. When your arms are beside you, your palms are down. There you go, Caroline. And then when they come up, your fingers point to the ceiling. Your palms, your hands are still staying. And then when they go overhead, your palms are facing up to the ceiling. There you go. Good. Good. There you go, Teresa. Now keep your arms, don't change them as the arms come down. When your arms come down by your side, keep them facing. Yeah, there you go. Keep them down and your palms will touch the floor. There you go. Now, when you bring your arms up, just leave them in that position. Exhale overhead. Beautiful. You got it now. Okay. So do one or two more. The next time your arms come down by your side, pause there. Now you're going to root into your feet, all the toes, the heel bone. Feel your transverse arch lifting. Allow your shins to a little bit reach forward as the pelvis lifts up. Chin relaxes down towards your throat, back of the neck lengthens, pelvis gently floats up. Okay, notice if your thighs are rolling in, you might need to press out a little bit. Root down through the outer heels a little bit more, the pinky toes. If you want, you can just stay there and breathe. Some of you may inhale, float your arms, fingers point to the ceiling, and exhale overhead as you're in bridge. If you reach your arms overhead, when you bring them back up and your fingers point to the ceiling and your arms come back down, lower your pelvis down at the same time. Okay, we're going to do one more time. Press the feet into the floor, all the toes, inner heel, outer heel. Let your pelvis gently float up. Keep space in your lower back. Your shins might reach gently forward. Let your chin relax down so the back of the neck opens. Widen the front of your collarbone. Root the shoulder blades into the floor. If you want, reach the arms up. Inhale, fingers point to the ceiling. Exhale, overhead. When you want to come out, you're the judge. Arms come back up. Pelvis lowers down with the arms. Take a moment to draw one leg in. Hold it, either shin or back the thigh. Then slowly bring the other leg in. Hold shin or back of the thigh. Okay, and you're going to choose what you want to do to end. Okay, some of you might just want to rock here, circle around, and maybe you want to do a little bit of hip rolling or a figure four. Some of you may feel that you want to widen the legs, extend the shins and the feet in the air and grab hold of the ankles, the back of the thighs. Some of you that are a little bit more flexible can grab feet, pinky or big toe. Baby pose. Remember, you're pulling down on the leg with the hands and then you're pressing the leg and the feet up into the hands. So there's an equal action. The back of the sacrum and the lower back are pressing towards the floor. You can rock here. You can hold it. If a gentle twist is serving you or some other ball rolling is serving you to end your practice, you feel free to go into it. We are exactly at 10:15 right now. Okay, so maybe take another minute or so just to relax. Good. Good. Take your time to release. Yes, clamshells. Those are so good. I wonder now, okay, so I'm going to adjust your feet a little bit. There we go. I wonder too about that little elastic band around your toes when you do this one, because your left big toe is pulled away from your right big toe because of the bunion, right? So I wonder, let's try it. I'm just curious. For some reason, it just kind of came in to share it with you to try it and to see if that makes a difference for you. So I'll put all this other stuff away. That's interesting, hey? As you pull it apart a little bit, it changed for you the integrity of the feet, right? Yeah, but you've got a little bit of traction on the band, tiny bit, right? There's a little resistance against it. How does it change it? Yeah, something happened, right? Feet down. I wonder if it's about keeping that connected. Because right away when I saw it, the inner voice was like, put the elastic band around, put the elastic band. I know. But how does it feel with the band? Is it okay? Good. Okay, we'll take the band with you. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to take it back. Okay, so choose. How do you want to rest now? That was a good find. I like that. I'm glad that you went into it and we explored it together. Just going to take a moment here to just take a few breaths out the nose, out the mouth, maybe a sigh. And just thank yourself for all the work that came in today. Maybe there was a few explorations that we went into that you felt, oh, I'm going to try these at home. Notice how your body is touching the floor. And see if you can let the body release a little bit more into the floor. So you might notice, oh, one hip is a little bit heavier and surrendering into the mat more than the other hip. So you might just let your focus resonate in the pelvis, in the back of the pelvis, maybe the very center, that sacrum. The sacrum is like a downward pointing triangle. And just see if you can start to balance out the weight of the hips. Some of you might find, oh, one shoulder blade releases into the floor a little bit more than the other shoulder blade. Okay, so you can go from the shoulder blades, you can go from the pelvis, but they have a ripple effect up and down the body. So when you start to anchor both sides, either in the shoulder blades or the pelvis, then you start to find evenness going up and down through the body. Let the breath have its own rhythm. Sometimes it will be out the mouth, sometimes it will be out the nose. Just giving freedom of breath. Piece I'm reading today is by Rachel Marie Martin. There was a moment when I no longer was the same person. Life had changed, and the me before slowly faded into the fabric of the years. If I looked closely, the scars were there, but they no longer caused pain. Now they were simply part of my story. Instead of being something I ran from, they became something that created the strength and who I am now. I looked closely, the scars were there, but they no longer caused pain. They were simply part of my story. Instead of being something I ran from, they became something that created the strength in who I am now. Take a couple more minutes here just to rest, a little silence. Gently just allow the sound of my voice to bring you back into your body. Feel the flow of your breath as it is right now without changing it, just being mindful, just allowing your attention to ride the wave of the exhale and the inhale. Feel the relationship of how the body responds to the breath. And keeping that awareness in body and breath, just slowly start to wiggle the fingers, the toes. Let that movement slowly trickle up through the body, the arms, the legs. Maybe there's a stretch. You might find the body wants to yawn. And there might be some movements that your body wants to express. So just taking the time for that. And you'll choose one side to roll over on. So we had been doing Nadi Shodhana, which is our breathing practice. And we didn't do it today. And we've been practicing it for a little over a month. So just remember, as you roll onto one side, remember if you have your right nostril on the top. So if you roll on left side, your right nostril will be on the top. This is more your sympathetic nervous system. So it's going to bring you energy as you move out off your mat today. If you need a little bit more calming, you're going to roll over onto your right side. So your left nostril's on top. And you're going to meet me in seated when you're ready. Let the hands touch the floor, either palms facing forward or fingers down. When you're ready, inhale, sweeping the arms up at whatever height feels good for you. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale, receive that grounding energy called apana in Sanskrit into the body. The inhale is the prana, the life-giving lift, expansion. The exhale is the downward, the letting go, the manifestation energy. Just notice these two oppositions that are playing within your energetic system all of the time. And do 3 full movements, and then the 4th will reach up, palms touch, bring the thumbs to the heart, and just pause there. Notice how your body expands and receives on the inhale, and how there's a gathering, a letting go into heaviness, but also integrity comes in. So notice this interplay, this balance between the two. As your eyes open. Thank you for playing with me always in class. If you happen to have an elastic band that comes off of a